Welcome to another episode of my Motortown playthrough. Today we are at the refinery to do some trash collection. I wanted to check out if they adjusted payouts in order to make this long distance job worthwhile now compared to just doing it on Lijo Island. So I think what I'll be doing here is just getting all the trash from this place that I can find around the area. And then we are going to deliver it straight to the landfill. I could otherwise also just go to Gappa and fill up the truck, which would of course be more profitable, but at the end of the day, I would like to just see how much this pays out, and I think picking up stuff from Gappa would be kind of diluting the results here. So I'm just getting stuff from this area, and once we get the reward screen for the delivery, then we can also just punch it into a calculator and see how much it's really worth here. I think it's still likely going to be pretty close to what you get from Jeju Island for the same amount of stuff. So yeah, that was at least what I got the last time I tried this with the new update, when it was still on the testing branch. But I hope they may have adjusted it by now. If they didn't, my ideal idea on how this should be done is twofold. I think the reward for each and every bag should be determined by two things. First up, just like a flat fee of around 500 bucks or something, just because it takes a considerable amount of time to pick up trash bags and do the whole compacting thing and everything. It's just a lot more work compared to regular transportation jobs. And with 500 per bag, it would turn out to 20k for a full truck, which I think is appropriate for the amount of work you are putting into this kind of thing. Or at least I think that should be around the ballpark. It might be a bit high, but to me it sounds like a good value. But that's only the first part of what we should be paid for these kind of jobs. The second part is that based on the location, and I mean as a location this would be the refinery as a whole, Gappa as a whole, Guangjin as a whole, yes, there are trash bags over here. If it turns out that they actually adjusted the payouts, then I might at some point go over here. I think I would need a completely different setup for my truck though, because, well, off-roading. But yeah, I think depending on the area the bag spawns in, like the entirety of the refinery, you should get paid an additional amount based on the distance to the next landfill or the factory. So maybe in this case, I mean, at the end it should really be based on the payout that you get for a similar sized truck and everything. At the end of the day, this whole thing is the compacty isn't really slowed down that much when you load it up, so it's not like you get a 40-ton tanker and should be getting the same amount for the trip as with that. But yeah, if you had a similar kind of truck going a similar distance, the payout should still be comparable to that. So that's how I would do the entire thing. In my mind, I think like 60k for this job would be fair. 20k for picking up all the stuff and another 40 for the delivery to the landfill. After all, you're going across the entirety of OG pretty much. I thought it was in the bin here, but apparently it's not. So I actually need to get out of the truck in order to pick up the trash. Let's see, where... I was about to say I didn't pick up everything yet. That couldn't have been correct. But yeah, I know that we are not going to fill up the entire truck over here. There's just not enough stuff. Would be nice if maybe some of the trash also spawned at Daza, but yeah, that's apparently not the case right now, or at least it wasn't in the last update. Nope, no trash bags over here. But yeah, if I want to get the final payout per bag calculated using the values that we get on the delivery screen, then it would be a really bad idea to add in anything from a location much closer to the landfill itself. Two more bags right here. And to be clear, I've done this whole thing while the update was still in testing, and I'm pretty sure it was one of the early testing versions. I did this whole thing shortly after I made the video about collecting trash in Gappa. So this should all be fully respawned here. But I feel like we are not really getting that much. So maybe it isn't fully respawned after all. So it might just take a very long time, but yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago or something when I did the last trip around the refinery. So I don't get why we are so much lower now. Or there might be another few very crowded places coming up with a lot of trash bags. In that case, I said nothing and I should just be waiting until we are really full here. But I think back then it came up to like maybe 8 out of 10. So on the top right. Right now we are just barely above 5, so that's really just 1/4 filled. Oh, not 1/4, half full. Yeah, it's 21 of 40 trash bags loaded up. But yeah, we have a few more containers coming up, so yeah, that's gonna fill up very quickly there. So the main part of this journey is actually going to be the trip back to the north end. After all, we already spent like almost 8 minutes doing this whole thing. I know the episode is now just over the 8-minute mark, but I gave you the intro and everything, so that's always taking a few moments, if not minutes. Oh yeah, there are a few more trash locations here. Also a few that seem to be unused. I wish they gave another overhaul to the whole thing here. In my mind, the trash cans, the regular ones like that one over there, should have a good chance of holding 2 trash bags because, well, it's a bit larger. And the container should be even more than that. Oh yeah, we're actually coming up to 8 again from what I can tell. Assuming there's going to be a few more containers, like this one over here. With trash bags on either side, yeah, that's going to give us 1 full point. So ignore all that I said, I just made a bit of a miscalculations looking at how few points were left. But these ones are actually stacked up with trash, so that's pretty good. And yeah, I might actually be starting my new sub-series soon enough. So just starting from scratch on a new character, no teleporting and everything. And I think that's also gonna help me making things a bit more regularly. You may not notice it from the amount of videos I put out, but basically I do a lot of recordings one after the other, and then for half a week, 1.5 weeks or something, I do nothing on that end. And it's also partially down to, well, basically in this world with this character, I've done most things, and I've also just made about as much money as I as I will need for the foreseeable future, and I don't mind spending and remaking that money, but there isn't even that much left to buy at this point. I could go for a lot of different vehicles, just buying everything that there is in the game, but yeah, uh, for me going around and selling a few of my vehicles recently, you may have noticed that that's not really what I'm all about, so yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't care for buying all the stuff just to have it. So let's put down the destination. Since we don't have everything filled up, it's not going to give us that one automatically. But yeah, what was I talking about? Ah. Yeah, I don't really care right now to have all the vehicles in the game if I don't have a use for them. And what I really need, and I know I'm repeating myself here, I need a better vehicle sorting system for the spawner in order to get some of the not so often used vehicles out of the way and just have a better list for the stuff that I'm actively using. And also just remove some categories that are completely useless to me, like cards. I think there's another one for race vehicles and all of that, which currently only contains the Formula SCM, which I should give another... Sorry, my voice today is really not doing what it should be. I should really give that one another try, see how it works now with... God damn it, my damn throat today. I just want to see what it does with changes to aerodynamics. It's not gonna get any spoilers. I think we would be more likely to just get another vehicle that has spoilers a bit more on the more powerful side, and I'm kinda digging that. I like that some of cars, or at least in this case the Formula SCM, is limited to only allowing us to do setup stuff and not just increasing power outright. So it's more about improving the driving so that you can more easily handle it, but yeah, not just getting an absolute leg up on the opponents who don't have the vehicle. It's always going to be on the same power level, it's just how it works best for you of a racetrack. But yeah, the initial point I want to make is that from what I know, I think there is a separate class for only that vehicle right now. Same as with cards, there is only one card in the game, and that all just makes very little sense to me. And I would love to be able to assign my own cars to that class and all of that, because some of the cars I have, they are straight up race cars with how I tuned them and what I use them for. Like my Vista RX, like my Panthers and all of that. A lot of the event vehicles I would just put into a separate class because they are basically just for those events, and that's about it. But speaking of events, another thing that I've recently noticed on the Trello, they are actually working on an open road race event system now, which is really exciting. I expect it to be something kind of similar to how you do it in GTA. So putting down some checkpoints, giving it some start-finish line and that kind of thing, and then being able to just host it up on servers and that kind of stuff. Hopefully a few props can be included, like different barriers to just block off some parts of the roads that you're not supposed to go on, making it clearer where you're actually supposed to go. And in the end, this could be really amazing for the racing events that we are doing, given that while it would be definitely a huge improvement, there's also a few physics things that they need to take care of in order to make things work out a bit better, more consistently. You've seen some of my past races, and yeah, while it would definitely be nice for the host to just not having to stand aside all the time, but just being able to participate in the race. And that's one of the major things. It would be easier to host it and make it more clear for people where to go, how many laps you are supposed to be doing, and that kind of stuff. In the end, for proper racing, we also need the physics to behave. There's a lot of factors going into the racing. And part of the reason why it's so amazing to begin with in this game is just the tuning options and all of that. Oh god. Oh god. I almost saved it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what that's going to look like once it comes out. The thing is, I saw it initially a while ago, and at that point they had a few of the things done, but they had the starting grid as the next point. And from my experience with GTA, custom 5M GTA racing servers, I knew the grids would be a tough nut to crack, and yeah, I looked back at everything a day later, and starting grids was now at the bottom of the list with a question mark behind it, so that pretty much checks out. Honestly, I don't know how they could be doing this the best way, because there's a lot of different sized vehicles in the game, and you also don't really know how many people would be participating. In GTA, there's a hard limit for 30. On the custom 5M servers, I mean, I've seen a race with 200 ghost racers, and that's quite a different ballpark. And I think some people have been trying to up the starting grid to 60, meaning that after the first 30 we would need to find a way to give the game a few more coordinates to save additional starting points. So yeah, I don't know the best way to do it in this game. I think what would be amazing is if we could put on a starting grid on a road like this, and if possible the starting point should just be following the spline of the road. But I don't know if that's really possible. GTA of course utilizes just straight starting lines by default. So all the cars are just in lines staggered behind each other. And that works out for that game, but I don't know if it would be the same for this one. There are a lot of windy roads where, depending on how many starting positions you have, it would be tough getting all of that work out properly. And I don't know if it would be a good idea either to just try and have the person making the track just going into each potential starting position and just pressing a button to save it. I'm not sure how that would be working out. The other option, of course, would be just not having a starting grid, but just a position where people can spawn in and then take the starting grid, and the host just confirms that you are supposed to start, and until the starting procedure is over, the vehicles will just be stopped in place. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to do it. All of them have some pros and cons, and yeah, some of the more automated ones would be a lot of work on the dev side, if even possible at all. So I don't know, really hard to judge what would be the right call here. But yeah, I had a bit of experience with that whole stuff. I even made some rally tracks in GTA years ago and made completely custom starting grids for that, basically everything in one line, maybe even with a divider barrier in the middle of the road, and yeah, you would be going one direction on one side, and then at some point at the end of the barrier there would be an option to turn around, and then the starting grid would be continuing the other direction. It worked out pretty well in the end. But of course that was not a standard racing track to begin with. But yeah, we are making really good progress here. It's as I said, it's a pretty quick truck overall. Not really amazing. I mean, we're not in a race car here right now, but at least it's not like a super slow 40-ton semi-tanker thing. But yeah, right now it's been quite a few days since we gotten the official release of the 0.77 update, and there are still things for this update that are in the works right now, but I don't know if they are going to come out anytime soon. But yeah, I'm taking a bit of a shortcut here. Some of these turns are a bit nasty, and I would like to not turn or turtle myself and again right now. So just taking a bit of a quick route across the desert. Or whatever you would call this biome, I don't really have any idea. Prairie? It's not a savanna in my opinion, at least not from my knowledge. Okay, we've also shaken the police by now, so I might turn on the autopilot for a bit in order to repair the buses real quick. Speaking of buses, I've recently tried doing some bus driving on the TWL server. With a new update coming out, a lot of people were trying things, and for a while we actually had quite a bit of bonus there. Like over here, the population payment bonus for bus passengers. Man, that went down real quick. That was at around 50% when I started playing today. But it was also when I stopped playing, and I just deleted about 25 people with the bus. The whole stopping mechanic right now is still a bit undercooked. Even when stopping the bus at a bus stop, the people inside the bus just vanish when you press stop, and I don't know if there's really any difference right now compared to just deleting the bus with all the passengers in it. So we're gonna see about that. And yeah, it's slowly getting dark. We still have 10 kilometers to go, but it should be a few easy kilometers. So no heavy off-roading, no mud road, just paved roads and stuff at decent speed. The coastal road is a bit tricky as per usual, so gotta be careful around that. But until that point we can really just go and yeah, just give it the beans. As much as the truck here will allow it. To be careful with these corners because I might flip myself over again. Yeah, from this point it's going to be a lot of downhill, so easy to pick up speed, easier to do something bad. But yeah, these parts of the roads might also be some issue with how urgent taxi pays out and how the values are calculated, because a lot of these have very high speed limit, and I think from what I heard you need to be above the speed limit with urgency taxi in order to get the full bonus and all of that. And with these roads being pretty much at the limit on how fast you can go around parts of these, it's not that easy to keep the speed up consistently. So that's why it's often very hard getting the full bonus. Because you would really need to be racing around here in order to get all of that. And I don't even know how much higher than the speed limit you need to be. It could be something like 50% higher, so going around here at 180, it's not going to happen. Same with the desert roads and all of that, it's just very tough to do. I mean, now that it's down to 90, it would be 135 if it's 50%. I'm not entirely sure about the value, but I think it's something like that. Did I take care of all the buses? Yeah. Already forgot again. It's getting warm in here and yeah, my brain is just as per usual not doing its thing. I got a few things planned that I want to do today, but not entirely sure if I will be able to do all of them. It's yeah. I'm just trying to do the best I can right now, but it's just not always working out for me. So gotta see what I can actually do and how much I can get away with, and yeah, plan and work accordingly. I'm just really not doing too well with warm weather, and especially not if temperature is going up and down over time. At some point it's better if it's just gonna be warm, just have it be warm and stay warm for a while. I can get used to it, but the constant back and forth between really hot and like moderately warm and all of that, it's just not helping. Of course, something had to happen at some point. I gotta say, overall, this area is kinda lovely. It looks amazing, and with this game, driving is always a vibe, especially if you are just alone on some coastal road or going through the middle of Medium or something. It just this feels amazing. Okay, but we should be coming up on the more narrow road sooner than later. Should be around a few bends over here, I think. No, it might be still um, a few meters out here. Still gotta go alongside that part of the mountain, but maybe once that one ends over there, it should be time to turn into the landfill. And yeah, this is definitely a long trip. I didn't look at the timer for the recording for a while, and I also just completely crashed that police car. Can I push it off the edge of the cliff just so that we don't have any witnesses who can also just send us to jail? Oh no, it's we are too far away from the cliff now. I cannot push from that far. But yeah, here is the landfill road. Kinda like the extended driveway of this place. Also, yeah, when it comes to the other event I was planning on doing, it's still going to be happening, but it's been delayed by a week now. We didn't get the event announcement out soon enough, and I didn't want to do an event on Sunday when we only have the announcement on Friday. People should get a bit more time to set up their vehicles. In the end, it's pretty much a rerun when it comes to the vehicles, because we are still going to be using the same rule set as with the past V8 Rallycross event. But I think from what I've seen, people might not be that happy with their cars that they had back then, so giving them the chance to redo them and yeah, just do something better there and also potentially test out the track. I think they should have a few days for that. Okay, we are at 8.5, so that's I'm gonna do it with a calculator. My brain is fried today. So let's see. Calculator at the ready. And that's 13k. That's not amazing. 13,602 divided by 8.5 times 4. Because 8.5 is just the thing there, but with 10 or the full 10 out of 10 loaded, we would actually have 40 trash bays on board. So per trash base we are basically getting 400 coins right now. Okay, part of it is the town bonus, so if I deduct that and just go for, what is that? 12,000. That's 352. Or is it 12k? That would be 7, that would be 5, yeah, 12k, so I don't know. Definitely not worth it. So I hope they do something about this at some point. Rather sooner than later. But yeah, with the whole landfill, I think the prices should have also been adjusted, because this right now makes very little sense to do apart from wanting to do it. But the reward should also be somewhat appropriate for the amount of time we spent here. But yeah, that was another bit of testing here. And yeah, I mean, I don't need the money now, so it's not really too bad on that part, but still. There's likely quite a few people who would attempt this and then just kind of feel a bit betrayed for the amount of work they put into this. So yeah, hopefully this gets a raise at some point. But that's gonna be it from me for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about all the stuff here, and till next time, have a good one and bye bye.